Good evening. Good evening. Going to give it a minute or so for people to be able to drop on to the live. I hope you notice that I have overhauled my StreamYard and you've got nice bright branding on there now and pink. I've changed my colour. I just wanted to stand out a bit more. Sometimes it can feel a bit drab, and I found a few minutes today to fit that little job in between other tasks. How are you anyway? It's absolutely bucketing down here in Scotland, has been for most of the afternoon. So I'm very pleased I'm inside today. I'm working inside, hoping it clears up for tomorrow because I'm off to Glasgow for a networking meeting. Woohoo! Real life networking. Can't wait for that. Anyway, how are you guys? For those of you that don't know me, I will do the traditional and usual introductions. So I am Mandy Nicholson, as it says down there somewhere, that side, there, Mandy Nicholson, and I am the Creative Genius Consultant. I am an artist, I am an author, and I help creative women to launch, grow, and scale their businesses and make more money. And you are joining me tonight for episode 3 of 6. We're halfway through by the end of tonight. My 6 episodes, 6 lives in 3 weeks, taking you through my journey of from abundance to rock bottom and back again. Honestly, every time I say that, it sounds like a movie title, and you never know. One day it may be, because there are 3 full books covering this period of time. The first one is obviously available now, which is The Life I Won by under my pen name, AJ King, which you can find on my website and on Amazon. And book 2 is half written, so that will be finished soon. And book 3, I am currently living. That's all I'm going to say about that. Anyway, tonight is all about rewards. So on my journey of from abundance to rock bottom and back again, I've already covered with you in the first episode the year that I lost everything, that series of unfortunate events that took me from having everything to losing it all and ending up in my council house with no money. In episode 2, I started to talk about the first couple of years in that council house and me starting to rebuild my life and the lessons that I'd learned. So, you know, in episode 1, I talked about me learning the lessons of gratitude and forgiveness. And in episode 2, I talked about getting my ducks in a row, taking control back and living within my means and starting to sort of get my ducks in a row. So we'd kind of got to about 2012, I think, in episode 2. So what happens is when you learn forgiveness at a really deep level and gratitude. Now, I was studying The Secret, and I want to put a caveat in here and a note in here. I did read The Secret, watch the film, get into self-development, really get behind some of this stuff at the time. But I have to say, I would not class myself as woo-woo. I don't think I ever have. I don't know whether I ever will. I would class myself as open-minded to many different things. And I believe that we create our own destinies. And we create that through the power of thought. If you want to call that woo-woo, call it woo-woo. Everybody's different. Everybody has different beliefs and understandings of how things work. So I was reading The Secret, and the messages it was giving me was that you are in control of your destiny. Your thoughts create your future. Your thoughts create your reality. So I was very much of the school that I would really focus my thinking on positivity, on gratitude, on forgiveness, on the things I did want and not the things I didn't want. That's the key principles of The Secret. So I was manifesting, but I think I was manifesting in a really practical way. The universe was not giving me gifts. I was giving me gifts because I believe we are the universe. We create what we want in life. We create what we don't want in life. And I can't, at 57, I can't rewire my brain to think anything other than that, because I've been very practical most of my life. So there's some woo-woo in me. I do believe, I'm very spiritual. I love lots of different things, but I take a practical approach to manifestation, and each to their own, and everybody does it differently. And that's all I'm going to say about that. So I had been working with affirmations, but in a way of understanding affirmations from an NLP perspective, neuro-linguistic programming, because I had a coaching qualification in NLP at the time. I now have a master's NLP master qualification. So I really understand how we can program our minds to think. So for instance, affirmations. If you say affirmations over and over and over again, you are programming your mind to notice the things that are going to bring to you the things that you want. That's how I understand it. And I think that that is how it works for me. Maybe different for other people, and that's okay. So I had been programming myself. So like a computer, I had been programming myself through 2010, 2011, 2012, where I'd hit rock bottom and I was building my life back up. Remember, I'd built a cleaning business first, very practical, very hands-on, very I can do this now to fix things type of thing, because I am quite practical. And that was going really well, and I was making plenty of money, and I was able to start saving money. I'd got my ducks in a row, so I'd kind of got through all of that. And I wanted to take control of other things. So I wanted to lose weight. I have gained a lot again since then, but there are reasons for that. But I wanted to lose weight. I'd gained a lot of weight in an unhappy marriage, and I wanted to lose weight. So I'd set my intent on losing weight, on saving money, on losing practical things. This is what I wanted to manifest into my life. These practical things. I needed to retrain my mindset so that I could do the right things in order for me to lose weight. So I took practical steps. I went and joined the gym. I went to see the doctor, first of all, who promised me that he would weigh me every 2 weeks and keep me accountable. I went to join the gym, and I signed up with a personal trainer, and we got a routine in place. I looked at the food I was eating. The doctor helped me with that. I took practical steps to manifest what I wanted. I did not expect a big gift to drop out of the sky and say, there you go, Mandy. I took the practical steps that I needed to take. I was taking the practical steps with my finances and setting up savings and investments. And at this point, I'd had a meeting with a pension advisor and reinvested my company pensions into a private pension, which really taking control of things and taking practical action. And I say I'm not woo-woo, but in 2012, my sister is a bit woo-woo, and we'd reconnected by then. And she sat down and she read my tarot cards. And in my tarot cards, it said that there was a man somewhere in the ether that was currently watching me. He had grey hair, and we would be together 7 years. Now, this was in 2012. And I dismissed it. I was not interested at all at this point. I was focused on me and the kids. There was no space for anybody else in my life. I was not ready. So I was manifesting the things that I did want. And I did lose the weight. I got myself really fit. And by the time we got well into 2013, I had signed up for the Great North Run. I was running every day with the dogs. I had lost 7 stone, and I was fitter than I'd ever been in my life. But I did that. I manifested that. I fit it around my kids, my business that I was building. It helped me that I had built a physical business. I was very active all the time. And at that time, I was also thinking, the cleaning business is doing really well. And one of my clients had been the owner of 5 holiday cottages. And he had got sick, and they decided to sell the holiday cottages and asked me to help them with the sale of the holiday cottages. And we were down to the last 2 holiday cottages left. And the wife, Maureen, very sadly got cancer, very serious cancer, and died very quickly. It was awful. But I kept the cottages and everything going for Trevor, her husband, whilst he spent time with her. And because I did that and then helped to sell the cottages and kept very positive through that and helped him as much as I could, he offered me to come and work in his business with him. I didn't know at that point in time that he had a financial services business. So what ended up happening was I went from having a cleaning business to going to work in a really high wealth financial services business. Took a couple of courses, educated myself, and that just happened. I said to you in episode 1, I never had to look for work again. Things just came to me over the years from the actions that I was taking. So you could say I was manifesting all the things that were happening in my life, but they were coming from the actions that I was taking every single week, week in, week out. So I'd manifested this new role in financial services. It was really exciting because it was new. It still was not my creative passion and going back to my creativity, but it was something new and I could use my brain again. I hadn't really been doing that in the cleaning business. And I'd signed up for the Great North Run, which was in September. So I was in September, the Great North Run, and I'd been training really hard for that. But earlier than that, in 2013, I'd been invited to a friend's birthday party, a 50th birthday party. And I trotted along to this 50th birthday party, and there was this man called Gary. Now, I'd known Gary as a teenager. I didn't know him, I knew of him. And he was a friend of my sister's. He was a couple of years younger than me. And he was at this party and he sat next to me all night. And honestly, there was like electricity going between us. And I don't know why. It was really, really weird. So we tried to chat. It was really noisy. I got home that night and he messaged me on Facebook in the middle of the night to say, would I like to meet him for coffee? Grey hair at that point, and apparently, according to my sister, he'd been watching me for a while through Facebook. I didn't know this, not in a stalkery way, but just watching. So I met Gary that year, who would become my husband later on. And remember what I said about my sister, saying that we would be together for 7 years. I never even considered what she'd said at that reading until I lost him at year 7. And then it all came flooding back to me. But it was 7 wonderful years. It was the best relationship I ever had in my life. So I had this new business and thing going on with financial services. I was running the Great North Run, which I did in 2 hours, 36 minutes, by the way, with an injured knee. I had this new man in my life that was blowing me away. And I had some really substantial, at this point, savings and investments. I said to you that I was only putting £5 here and £5 there and starting savings accounts for me and the kids. So I'd moved my pensions into a high risk fund. And I think this is probably the message for tonight, and the lesson that I learned the most in this period of time was that you don't get any reward without first risking things. Now, I'd risked everything, giving up my cleaning business to go and work in financial services in a business that I didn't know, with somebody I didn't know that well. I knew them quite well, but not that well. Could have gone at a really good cleaning business, but there was a risk there that I was prepared to take. There wasn't much risk in losing weight, but there was a lot of risk in me running the Great North Run, because I'd never run before in my life. I could have done some serious injury, and it turned out that I did. But for me, that was worth the risk. Was I going to risk myself again with a new man that I didn't really know that well, and risk another failed marriage? Because remember, I've had 3 failed marriages before this one, and I was in this new relationship that was really exciting. And I risked my company pensions by putting them in a high risk personal pension fund, the highest possible risk. I kind of thought, after losing everything, that I really had nothing to lose. So I rolled the dice with absolutely everything. I was manifesting all these things through my forgiveness, my gratitude, my taking action, my practical stance on The Secret and manifestation, using affirmations, using all the tools that were at my fingertips. But I was also rolling the dice and taking risks, knowing that I'd already lost it all in 2009 and I didn't die. And it wasn't the end of the world. And my kids were still healthy and happy. And everybody survived. And we'd managed to find a way out of it. So it kind of gave me a new review of life, if that makes sense. Not that I think you should go and throw all your money down a drain on something that's ridiculous, but it gave me a what's the worst that can happen kind of attitude. So I'd risked my pensions into a private pension, but I'd also set up a pension plan for both of my kids. At 12 years old and 14 years old, both of my children had pension funds. At 12 and 14 years old, both of my children had junior ISAs. Both of my children had savings bonds, investment bonds. Because I was working in financial services now, I knew a little bit about what I was doing, and I was frittering away all that extra money that was over my ducks in a row level into all these savings and investments. This was a big year for me in terms of savings and investments. And at this point in 2013, my pension fund was worth about £250,000. And I was really proud that I'd put it in this high risk fund and I was making money and it was working for me. So I set myself a goal of that pension being worth £500,000 and of me having another £100,000 worth of savings for the children by the time we got to 2020. That was the goal for me. I set this really big goal, and I wanted to own my own house. I didn't want to live in a council house for the rest of my life. I was creating vision boards with the kids, practical vision boards with action plans alongside them, because I believe that vision boards are great. But I take this practical stance on vision boards as well. There's no use putting pretty pictures on your wall unless you've got a robust plan that goes along with it. Don't stick a house on your vision board and then don't have a plan to get you there. So you have to have the practical actions that go with everything that you want to manifest into your life. That's the way that I look at it. And I was finding balance, and I discovered something at this point in time called the Perfect Square. And that was a book by Florence Scovel Shinn that was written in 1918. When women were not equal to men, when women were still subservient, and, there was the suffragettes and fighting for women's rights. And she wrote this book, and in this book, she described the perfect square. And it's almost like a really early version of The Secret. Well, The Secret has been around for thousands of years. People have known about our ability as human beings to manifest what we want through our thoughts. And she was writing about that in 1918. And she said there was a perfect square to life of health, wealth, love, and self-expression. And when you had the balance of all four sides of that perfect square, that you were manifesting in the right quantities in all areas. And I had thought that love didn't matter until I read the book. And it's called The Game of Life and How to Play It, or The Game of Life and How to Win It. And it's, really interesting that she puts equal focus onto all four areas: wealth, health, love, and self-expression. So remember, I'd been losing weight, health. I'd been creating vision boards, being creative with my kids. Wealth, I'd been focusing on savings, but I'd neglected the love side, thinking I didn't need it. And then all of a sudden, because I was working with this model, this man was put in front of me and we hit it off really, really quickly. So in 2013, it was a hugely pivotal year for me. Remember, I'd lost everything in 2009. No more than 4 years later, I was receiving the gifts, if you like, the things that I'd wanted to manifest in my life and that I'd been working really hard on over the last 4 years. So none of this happened overnight. I did not go from abundance to rock bottom and back again overnight. These things take time, and there's a series of events that happen in the process of manifesting all the things that you want in your life. So 2013 was a hugely pivotal year where by the end of it, I had the perfect man. I had savings and investments. I had lost weight. I had a new business working in financial services, which was exciting again and using my brain, and which would teach me loads. So it's like I'd leveled up. You know, when you play in a computer game and you level up, I'd leveled up, but there was so much further for me to go. And that's why there's 6 episodes to this, because I can only take you so far. And before this ends up being an hour-long live, and we're here all night. So over the next couple of years, what happens is that the relationship with this man, with Gary, becomes the most wonderful relationship. So I didn't just manifest a new relationship, I manifested the perfect relationship. And you might say there's no perfect relationship, but for me, there is. I'd had 3 failed marriages. And each time the men that I'd been with had wanted to change me, wanted me to be less than I was. Gary wanted me to be more than I was. He said I was playing small and I could be more, that I should step back into my power. He trusted me. He believed in me. That is the perfect relationship. Now, within 4 weeks of meeting this wonderful man that would prove to be perfect, I found out that in his perfection, there was imperfection, because he sat down and told me that he had a life-limiting condition and that he had been born with cystic fibrosis, and so had his brother, and that he didn't know how long he had to live, and that he gave me permission to have an out at that point in time and said, you know, if you want to walk away now, you can, but it was too late. I couldn't. And I decided to make a decision with my head and not my heart. And I said, can I have some time to think about it? Which I did. And I decided that I'd had 3 really unhappy marriages with men that did not respect me or allow me to be all that I could be when I knew I was meant for more. And this was a man that wanted me to be more. So would it not be better for me to have just a short time with him than have had the long time with some of these men who didn't behave in that way towards me? So I decided that I'd rather have a year of happiness at that level than 13 years of misery that I'd had with the previous husband. So I decided to just go for it and take a risk and say yes to everything. That was the year of saying yes to the new business, saying yes to the investment, saying yes to this new relationship that would hurt me along the way, because I was going to lose him at some point and I didn't know how long I'd have him for, but we were deliriously happy. So I said yes to the relationship. And when he, in 2014, said he wanted to move in, I said yes to that. And I said yes to every single opportunity, because I felt that the universe was rewarding me for the hard work, for the affirmations, for the manifestation, for the things, the action I was taking to change the things I wanted to change in my life. 2013 felt like it was the year of rewards coming. And you don't get rewards without work. You don't get rewards without action. You don't get rewards without gratitude and without knowing exactly what it is you want in your life. They come when you reach that level. Like I said, I'd leveled up. 2013 was my first level up. It wasn't the last level up. And we're going to cover off the next couple of level ups in the next few episodes. So we've got episode 4, 5, and 6 to go. And in episode 4, I'm going to be covering the 3 M's. So that's going to be on Thursday morning at 10 a.m. And the 3 M's are marriage, moving, and money. So that's what I'm going to be talking about on Thursday morning. Then I've got 2 more lives next week, Tuesday and Thursday. And I'm going to be talking about the year 2019, which is exactly 10 years after my series of unfortunate events that was covered in episode 1. And then in episode 6, I'm going to cover everything that happened after I moved into my dream home and to now, basically, the bouncing back again. So stick with me on these episodes, because I want you to learn something every time. So I'm hoping that in episode 1, you really got the forgiveness and gratitude. I'm hoping that in episode 2, you really got the ducks in a row. I'm hoping that tonight that you've really got the reward comes from hard work and taking action. And that, manifestation for me is about practical action, knowing what you want, taking the action to get there, and actually receiving gratefully these gifts that were being bestowed upon me by saying yes to everything. The new business, the new man, the new body that I'd actually manifested through taking action. I received these gifts with good grace and said, what next? And on Thursday, I'm going to talk about the what next. So thank you for watching tonight. If you've stuck with me, I hope that has made sense to you, because it's Mandy's version and not everybody tells things in the same way and not everybody thinks the same way, but it is my version. It's all I can tell because it's what happened to me and it's what I've done. So I can't tell you anything other than that. I can't tell you that I'm woo-woo when I'm very practical. I've got to be honest about what I am, how I think, and how I approach things. And I hope that at least some of you can resonate with that. So I will see you on Thursday morning live at 10, if not live on replay. Let me know if you've got any questions or queries. Please ask them in the comments. Please stick with me on this. You can catch up on YouTube. There's a link to the YouTube channel in the comments. There's a link to the 5-day challenge, which starts on the 11th of July. And that's the reason that I'm doing these 6 lives, so you can understand the backstory and where I'm coming from when I'm delivering these 5-day challenges that I know are transformative for your life and your business. And then I'm offering up my creative mastermind that is transforming so many lives right now. So episode 4, Thursday morning, I will see you there. Get your coffee on, get your biscuits on, and come and join me. Bye for now.